Have you heard that gut health is really important? Well, if you haven't, where have you been? Because it's talked about so often in the health space, which is a great thing, right? We should be aware of how important our gut health is, but sometimes it can seem like we have to take all the supplements to heal our gut. But the thing is, supplements can be helpful, but we also need to think about how we can heal through our food and really include things that are very healing to the gut. And so if you're interested in gut health and you want to improve yours, stick around because I'm going to talk about one thing that you probably want to add to your daily or at least weekly diet to begin to heal your gut. Let's do it. So today we're going to be talking about gelatin. And gelatin is an excellent thing to add into your diet, whether it's daily, which will be great, or at least a couple of times a week to help to heal your gut and to really make your body more resilient. And that's kind of the whole goal, right? We don't want to just remove the things that are causing irritation in the gut or causing it to be weak, right? We want to strengthen it overall. So this is a great way that we can do that. And I might add a tasty one. So let's get into it. So what is gelatin? Gelatin is a type of protein that's made into a dried powder, and it's created from isolating and dehydrating parts of the animal, including the skin, bones, and tissue. Now, this might not sound very appetizing, which I totally get it, but you likely won't even know that you're eating it because it's virtually colorless and tasteless. So bone broth, you may or may not know this, is actually a rich source of naturally occurring gelatin. So you've probably heard bone broth is really good for your gut, and that's why. And so, for example, beef bone broth, is a source of beef gelatin. And that's one reason why it's often used to clear up things like food allergies or intolerances or digestive issues, even leaky gut, autoimmune. Like there's a lot of different things that you may have heard, just drink more bone broth. And that's really why. Bone broth is very easy to digest, and it does contain gelatin so that it helps to rebuild the gut. So gelatin actually provides amino acids like glycine that strengthen the gut lining and therefore lower inflammation. It's used by doctors to help improve digestive, joint, cardiovascular, cognitive, and skin health. So it could have been, introduced to you in other aspects of health, but it's very, very good for your gut nonetheless. So traditional diets of our ancestors, which I always like to think, well, what were they eating, right? They were a lot healthier than we are as a whole now. And so that's really, they ate a lot of like nose to tail in when they approached eating animal food. So, which included higher amounts of gelatin. So if you think about what they ate a lot more gelatin-rich foods than we do typically. So you might be wondering, what's the difference between collagen and gelatin? There's actually very little difference between them. Think of it like apples versus applesauce. It's really the same core ingredient, just a different preparation. So collagen is the protein found in bones and connective tissues. So when you cook up collagen, you actually end up with gelatin. When you make bone broth, you're cooking the bones, releasing the collagen, and in effect, making your own gelatin. That's why when you make really great bone broth, it's like jiggly. That's exactly why it has gelatin in there. So gelatin is made up of the collagen protein, just in a slightly different form. So when you're looking at the amino acid profile of collagen and gelatin, you'll see that they're basically identical since they contain collagen. They both contain collagen protein. So what's the biggest difference? So when you cool collagen and you cool gelatin, gelatin will thicken, but collagen will not. So that's kind of the biggest difference. So we're going to get into different ways that you can utilize these in just a minute. But first, let's dig into how can this actually improve gut health and digestion. So similar to collagen, gelatin is beneficial for preventing intestinal damage and really improving the lining of the digestive tract, which we've heard a lot about leaky gut and permeability. Probably if you're watching this video, you have anyway. And this actually helps to tighten those junctions, and it helps to decrease leaky gut, which of course will improve digestion of your food and really cut down on your body's it will tighten those junctions and therefore cut down on the symptoms from something like leaky gut. So you can think of the gut lining as one of the body's most important lines of defense, since it keeps particles like food, bacteria, yeast, all of those types of things inside the digestive system where they belong, and it prevents them leaking into the bloodstream, which can trigger inflammation and cause a whole host of issues. So gelatin can improve your body's ability to produce adequate gastric acid secretions as well, that obviously are needed for proper digestion and nutrient absorption, because that's the thing, we can eat all of the other healthy foods, but if we're not really absorbing them, then we're not getting the most benefit out of them. So this really helps our body's ability to absorb and break down the nutrients better, right? So glycine from gelatin is important for restoring a healthy mucosal lining in the stomach and facilitating the balance of those digestive enzymes and stomach acid, which are often out of balance. So that's another reason why we really don't digest our food very well, and therefore that impacts other things in our health. So when you don't make the proper amount of enzymes, you can experience those common digestive problems like nutrient deficiencies, acid reflux, bloating, indigestion. There's others, but those are kind of the more common ones. So finally, gelatin is capable of absorbing water and fluids, which actually prevents fluid retention and bloating stomach, which improves constipation. Other things that utilizing gelatin can do, it actually improves sleep, skin, and heart health. So it is very important. Glycine is important to help our body be able to naturally detoxify of things like heavy metals and chemicals and toxic substances that we come in contact through our diet and environment. So these are things that a lot of times we want to, of course, and we can seek to downgrade our exposure to these things, but we can't live in a bubble, right? We're going to be exposed to these things throughout our daily life, and this actually makes us more resilient to when we come in contact to these things in our environment. So I see it as stronger gut, which gelatin can help with that, makes us more resilient. You could think of it like that. So consuming plenty of glycine, which is in gelatin, is actually tied also to better glutathione production, which is one of the most important liver cleansing detoxifiers we have, which helps clean our blood and usher harmful substances out of the body. So again, there's lots of different benefits to incorporating gelatin in your daily diet, or at least a couple of times a week. So what are the best ways to incorporate, you might be wondering? There's, depending on which form you have, either collagen or gelatin, let's go through some of those. Let's think about collagen. Collagen is the one that is not going to turn thick whenever you put it in the fridge. So you can really add collagen to anything. I would say the most popular way is to add it to like a warm beverage, like you can add it to your coffee or any kind of tea. You can also just add it to like soups and even baked goods and really even water. You can add it to literally anything. So you think about collagen, you can add to anything. Gelatin, you just want to make sure that you don't mind whatever you add it to getting thick if you put it in the fridge or if it's cold. So you could definitely add it to things like soups and stews to kind of thicken them up. Of course, one of the ways that I really love to use it is making homemade gummies, because when you add it to things like fruit juice or water, it's going to make them gelatinous. And depending on how much you add to that liquid, you can make like harder gummies, or a substance that won't stay together, right? It's just kind of gelatinous, if you will. So depending on how much you add, that's the texture of the outcome of the final product. So think adding it to things like mousses or some kind of dessert that you want that texture to is a great thing to do. And there's tons and tons of different recipes, so I'm definitely not going to get into that. But I will share on the blog that's going to be linked in the description of this video of a great gummy recipe that you can try. You can use any kind of fruit juice that you want, and the proportions of the fruit juice to the the gelatin will be in that post. So you can make your own homemade gummies, which are so good for a snack or even after a meal for like a little sweet treat. I love to make these. You can get so creative with them as well, and kids really like them also. So I'm going to include that, but I hope this video has helped you understand just one of the ways that you can begin this healing process, and I feel like it's pretty easy to incorporate some of these things into your daily diet, which is really kind of the goal, right? We want to be doing things on a daily basis to help to heal our gut. And while one serving of gelatin is not necessarily going to provide excellent gut health with just that one exposure, it's over time that your body is going to heal itself through the foods that we give it. And it's going to become stronger in the way that really God intended it to be, right? That it was in its perfect form. That's what we kind of want to get back to, because so often our day-to-day life and the things that we're exposed to have really damaged our gut. So getting it back to that original form is the goal. And this is one great and tasty way that you can do that. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions at all, you can always leave those in the comments, and I will be sure to get back with you in a timely manner and try to help however I can. If you want more videos like this, of course, you can look on my channel just to see the other topics that I've done. And I actually put out a new video every single Wednesday. So you can check back on Wednesday. And the best way to get notified of those is just simply to subscribe to my channel so that you get notified whenever I put out a new video. So I'm so glad that you've joined me for this video, and I will see you on the next one.